Hi.
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 Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum, my friends.
Salam.
Hope you're doing fine.
Yes, they're all fine. Just we waiting for them to join more and more. The guys are joining us.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's will be fine.
My problem was that when I was on Instagram, I didn't click on the live button. I clicked on the other one.
Yes.
So I couldn't come in.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. We're still learning on this type of programs.
Yeah, we're already old for that.
Yeah, yeah. Would like all the guys to share this live with your friends, to have more views, and to make everyone understand the hobby very well, and to clear all the minds and clear all the from anything maybe not clear. The information today will be useful for the English budgies breeder, the Japanese budgies breeder, the crested budgie breeders. We're gonna talk about a lot of things today, and gonna go in details with Dr. Florian today. So welcome all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shall we start?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. So first of all, pleasure to have you, Florian, today with me in live on Instagram, and pleasure to have you as a very famous German breeder who has won many shows before and have his own bloodline for several years. Dr. Florian was one of our guests in Kuwait Budgegar Club.
Let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you. Look.
Yeah.
I still have it.
Yes, yes. That's
my mouse pad from yours.
Yes. And we are happy to have you today and to share the information for more people before you talk about this to the Kuwaiti Budgegar members. And today we are talking to all over the world's members. So I'm gonna start, Doctor, from here.
Okay, that is just from my side. I wanted just to start with something nice, and it's like I wanted to say that bird breeding or budgie breeding is something that all that we are sitting here tonight, we wouldn't sit here if there wasn't budgies. We are all from different cultures, different religions,
yes,
different countries, and so in the end, it's like the photo shows when a good friend of mine from Dubai, Abdullah, was here visiting. We went to the mountain area. In the background, you can see the German mountains.
Yeah,
you can switch if you want. And if I was only like a teacher or doing another normal job, that's all pictures from our trips that we made together. When I only was a teacher or doing a normal job without budgies, I would never get in contact with people from my point of view. Look, I even put the clothes of the country, it was just we were joking that I put it and showed it to my children. And when I came in with that clothing, my daughter thought that one of the Arabian guys was going inside and wants to see the toilet, and when she saw me from the front, she had to laugh. So it was very funny. But what I wanted to say that on the world we have a lot of politics that in a lot of cases divide people. And I would say that budgies in general or having the same hobby unites people, and that is a nice thing. So, and also for understanding different people, you can talk, you can get in contact, and all the prejudices that one maybe has, or all the things that are told about different countries in a false way in your own country, you can learn yourself that it's maybe that you have to know the person, and then it's good. for me, it's to say that someone is a good person doesn't have to do with where he's from or what religion he has or what nationality. For me, a person that treats good his father and mother, that treats good his children, a person that treats good the friends, and the person that has the heart at the right place, doesn't matter where he comes from. So in the end, Bachi's help, and of course we have to reflect about what happens to us, but Bachi's help any one of us to learn more and to broaden our horizons concerning the world. I think that was all.
Yes, yes.
I hope if you don't understand anything, you just tell me.
Yes, I just gonna translate this part, please.
Yeah, sorry, just one more thing. That picture now, we went fishing and Abdullah was catching more fish than Bader.
Yeah.
But he was betraying.
Yeah, yeah. And we're gonna just go to the other subject, please.
You now switch to the millet spray.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So now
I just wanted to point out that for me, I don't understand anything at all of what you're saying in Arabic language, but for me it sounds like very, very much calming myself and a very nice language that sounds good for me. It's like listening to music and falling asleep. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So gonna talk now more about
I can do it if you want. Yeah. The thing was, it's just that now shows my field where I'm growing my own millet spray.
Yeah.
It's just a picture of millet spray, if you honestly talking. But in the end, that picture is just a symbol to show that Bachi breeding. Look, for example, in May time in Germany, I go out there, have to remove all the herbs and all the grass from the field, or I have guys that I pay that do it for me. Then I have to put the seed, then I have to go there with some other stuff and see that it is growing good. Then I have to put the fertilization and all that. So in the end, middle of October, I can go there and get my millet spray. That is just now a description for how to do it with the millet spray. Yes. Unfortunately, millet spray doesn't grow on sand, so for you it doesn't help.
Yeah.
But it was just an example to show you that Bachi breeding is not only fun; it is like a lot of work, and it's not like shopping. It's not that you don't just go on Facebook or social media, see a good bird, invest some money, buy it, see another good bird, a hen maybe, then you have a pair, you also buy it for big money, for low money, for whatever, and then in your illusion you think you will be the best breeder of the world. Like that, it doesn't work. It all starts from knowledge, from basics, from feet on the ground and daily working.
Yes.
And I think that was the point that I wanted to explain.
Yes, actually, Florian, about the millet, here the guys, some farms to grow it, but the birds eat it all.
What do you say? The bird?
Yeah, the birds, the wild birds.
You mean the wild birds eat it all? That also happens here when it's finished, when it's ready to harvest. Then you have to be quick because the wild birds will jump on it and you don't get anything. Yes. So what we do here is like you harvest it when it's shortly before being complete. So they are just in the middle of the grain or in the middle of the stick. They are still a bit green, and then you dry them at home, and then the wild birds don't come.
Yes, yes. So yeah, I think we're gonna explain this to our guys to try maybe. Okay, so yeah, perfect. I explain that for the guys, and as you know, it's the birds and all this hobby it's a lot of work as explained for them, not just as you said, just taking a bird, because many of our friends just bought a bird and they don't know what to do with it, and finally they lose it, and that's it.
No, that is wasting money. They a lot of beginners think that 1 + 1 makes 2, but in breeding it's not like that, because you have to feed one and you have to feed the other one, and you have to give medicine and you have to give vitamins and you have to watch them, and then 1 + 1 can be -2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're gonna switch to the PowerPoint now.
If you want, yes.
Yes.
If there aren't any questions, no problem. Because the thing is that we in that introduction part of the presentation, we were not talking about birds, and there is maybe nothing to say and nothing to ask. So we will switch to the PowerPoint thing now. But we go through it quickly, so that the people don't get bored.
Yeah. So I think the screen is good now.
Yeah. As you can see, that PowerPoint is part, or was part, of the presentation that I also did in your country. Can you bring some pictures from the PowerPoint? Just start. Perfect.
Yeah.
At the beginning now you can see the standard from different angles, from the side and from the front, how it should be. You can switch to the next if you want. So there's a 60 grade position like this. When the budgie is sitting on the perch, it's like that here, like here. You can see it's the same shape. And in the end, we have to keep that thing in mind to judge about a bird. Yeah. Because what I wanted to say with all that here is that nowadays most birds have good heads. And if you have good heads in almost any bird, we have to concentrate on other things apart from the head. So it's more about, when you watch this, the head is good in even all birds, or in, let's say, in the birds that are showable, but we have to watch more like the back line, then the angle, how it is sitting, if the wing is standing outside or not, if the feathers here are hanging. We can switch picture if you want.
Yes. Or how can I leave my bird in the same level or strong level always? So he need to improve his stud and stay in the same level of high quality level always. So I think we will answer that in the previous pictures and that's right.
Yeah, if you want, I can do it now as well, but I think there is no 100% answer on that. It depends on the blood structure and the genetics and also the family relations of the stud. There can be a super stud, which is like a result of bought birds and first generation good birds due to hybrid effect and outcrossing. Or there can be a stud which is the result of line breeding. So first of all, we would have to check that, and from that point we could say, how can I keep the level that I have? Yeah,
he said how you have the millet all over the year.
Yes, I feed it all year round. Yeah. I feed it more when there are baby birds, but I also feed it to the adult birds and during the time when there is no breeding.
Yes, yes.
If you want, you can switch picture. Yeah. Now that is what I showed you. We have the bird here. Concentrate on that area, because if the wing is like, I just have to find something to show you good. Just wait a second. If the wing here is standing out like this, that would mean that a good judge takes away points from the bird. And the 2 or 3 points that you lose here, you can't kind of compensate them with the head. Yeah. Okay, we can go on. Yeah, Yeah, that is what I showed. We don't have to talk about that again. I showed it with that stick. And now we don't have to talk about long flights when you're watching that. We just talk about faults in birds. When you see a bird, you watch it, and that presentation is just to open the eyes a bit. That's from the back side. The wings should be like that. That's just only a simple picture, but you can see that there is no crossing. In the next picture, you would see the crossing. You can put it like this. On the right, the fault, on the left, how it should be. Then there is a very, very important thing, because you have birds that carry faults in a genetical way inside, and you don't see it like at the wing thing here that we were talking about. Yeah. And so you have to watch the ear part of the birds, which is shown here, and it looked like comped. I think that comped effect was a wording that Richard Miller was using first, like Gerald Bingsford was using the buffalo effect first. So I don't want to steal the words, but it's a good expression. The birds have like comped feathers in that area, which according to the judgment rules should also take away points like opalescence or flecking. It's not very much in the center of the attention of the judges at the moment, but for a breeder without any show interest, you can recognize that there are some genes in the bird that are not good for breeding when you watch the ear feathering and see that it's like strings and looks like comped.
Yeah.
So then you can see that happens with birds that are have some problem in their genes. So you should never pair a bird that is sitting on the perch like the one on the right to another bird that is sitting the same. If the bird on the right is a super bird and you have a very stylish, nice upside sitting hen, then you could pair them. But I would rather not do it. You can see just the position of the same bird. When it looks like I'm holding the wooden bird now, when it looks like that, it looks like the bird on the left. When I do a bit like this, it looks like a not so good bird.
Yes.
That's it. And of course, the line with the tail, it must be in one line with the back of the bird. That's it. Yeah, that's again to show that on the left, the perfect bird. On the right, we have that bird with the bad position in the middle. And on the right, you can see that this position, watching it from the front, makes the bird appear shorter and makes the backside of the bird appear a bit lower. So even if you don't watch that bird from the side, from the front, you are missing length over the perch. That's it. I call it skirt. It's like an ideal bird. We want to see the feet, and in a very good, very perfect standing bird that is standing very well on the perch, we want to see through the feet. So in that picture you can't see it because it's just a description of all that. But on the right side you can see that the feathers are hanging on the perch and covering the feet. So in a good bird, according to the standard, you will always see the feet. And in a very good bird that is standing very well and showing, like, let's say an Arabian horse or some really elegant animal, you will see in between the feet through the bird and the perch.
Yeah.
Okay, that is just, we can very quick jump over them. So when we watch the left black bird and compare it to this one, we see that the wings are standing outside, that the feathers are hanging on the perch. When we compare the right bird, we see that the bird is not standing, that the wing is going outside. Let's say my wooden stick here corresponds to the green painting that is on top of these pictures that were blacked with color. So that is just to educate your eye how to judge the birds when you see them. I think these are all, I use them from Facebook, these pictures. Just go quickly through them. The same here. Again, no shape. Again, feather hanging on the perch. Again, a wing standing outside. Again, and that's, you watch the tail very long, and the wings, and the position. Also here, it looks like a packet of cigarettes from his measuring, not a bird in a stylish way, and not corresponding to the standard. Here again, the same. Again, the same. Again, you can quickly go through them. That's just to show how it looks like in reality and how to judge a bird when you see it. That a bird is not only head, that a bird is a complete bird, and a good head. A good head doesn't win a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's live examples of these problems.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. Tell them that a good head doesn't win a show.
Yeah.
Here you have birds that correspond to the standards, just to show that these also exist, but they are getting fewer and fewer because the rough birds with the rough wings and the rough feathering are getting more and more due to a missing attention or missing knowledge of the breeder, what the standard should look like.
Yes.
Yeah, you just go through it. When I see something that is, I think the pictures talk for themselves.
Yeah.
You just go through it, and when I see something, I will talk about it. Here again, good wing position. Again, good wing position. Good one. That used to be best double factor Europe.
Yeah.
His sister.
Yeah.
So, I think that was it.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Perfect. If there are no questions, we can switch to the photos. Of course, you know that in the bird and in life, it's not black and white, it's gray. Yeah? Most of what we are doing is not completely positive and not completely negative. When you see here that cobalt spangle hen has a head like a cock almost, and you can see that there, even though she's not perching very well, but the feathers, the body feathers, are very much connected to the bird, a very dense feathering, not a loose feathering, and you can almost see all the perch. So a good head doesn't mean that the bird must be rough all over the body. So the feather length on the head must be like the hen is showing, but the body feather is better if it is a medium bird, and that is connected to bloodlines, that feature.
Yes.
So the longer feather in the head area and the medium feather in the body.
There is a question who's asking actually for the second time, what's your line based on, Florian?
You mean where I got my first birds from, or all the birds?
Yeah, I think you mean all over the world, I think.
Yeah, I would say the main, it depends when we start from where does your line base on. We must first of all start from the definition of what is a line. And I would say after maybe 3 or 4 generations of not buying birds, you can talk about your line. But in the end, when he asked me where I got my birds from, then I must say that the biggest influence was Joe Mannes. At the beginning, the last birds I got in 2006 from there. And then I got pure Huxley margin blood from England. And I tried to fix that on the Joe Mannes line. And that clicked very well.
Yeah.
But in the end, he can ask me where the birds are from, but when we have to talk about the line, we must do one more interview in some weeks, because that would fill like 2 hours.
Yeah. For how long this? When this start, Florian? And which year?
What year?
What year you start with your budgies?
In '94.
Yeah.
At the age of 15.
Is quite a long time, you know. So just not 3 or 4 years.
No, 27 years. 27 years already. Yeah.
Yes. So we're gonna switch to the next picture. Yeah.
Here again, you can see a bird with a very, very perfect directional feathering and capping.
Yeah.
Without hanging on the perch, showing very well. But that's not a super picture, and we can switch if you want. That's also from my Spangle line. Again, nice face. Again, same thing here, showing good. And the birds must be, when they show or when you take photographs and go close to them, they must be fearless. And that must be in the blood of them.
Yeah.
That is a picture of double factor spangles. We don't see it well now, but it's just also to show the overall quality and the similarity of the birds. When you go to a place and see that all the birds are quite similar, then you know that you are at a place which is worth watching everything twice.
Yeah.
Green cock, a very good blow. And yeah, that's a baby from this year, a cinnamon spangle, gray. And you can also see here, a bird doesn't have to be from long flight background to have extreme head feathering. They have it or they don't have it. It's just from a beginner's point of view, it's maybe easier to breed a bird that looks somehow like a good bird. But if you watch closer, the good bird is not that good bird as it seems when you only watch the face on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah. Lacewing hen. That's the bird that you were showing at the beginning. That was maybe my best gray. It was a 2018 bird, still alive, but not in the best condition. But that's a special bird with a very, very elegant appearance and very good standing on the perch every time. Unfortunately, there was Corona time and I could never show him.
Yeah.
That's a video of the same spangles that we've seen the picture before. Yeah, but it's difficult to judge them good because the screen is small, but it's just, you can see that there are many and they all look the same.
Yeah.
That is the evidence of that bird. Yeah. It's complete Jomannes bloodline, the highest level that you can reach with his blood, complete feather density in the head, no long flight genes, almost round spots, dense feathering body, and very good feathering in the head. That bird looks like, let's say, the very good birds looked 10 years, 15 years ago. Yeah. Here again, I have like 10 or 15 of these grays, but now watching them in these small videos, I can't exactly tell you which one is which one. And I just tell you that there are a few of them, and they have nice feathering in the head, dense body feather, and when they are on the perch, they stand on the perch.
Yes.
Again, here you can see nothing extreme, but a nice bird with a good head that corresponds to the standard. That's a good one. I would not use him, cinnamon spangle cobalt, I would not use him in the normal spangles. That bird is perfect to pair him to a double factor spangle hen. I don't know if you know, but if you pair a cinnamon spangle to a double factor spangle, the chance that you get clean yellow and clean white birds is a lot higher as if you breed without the cinnamon factor. So that one, also due to the flacking, would go into the double factors.
Yes. Florian, but these type of birds are not small comparing to the other birds.
I didn't understand.
So the size of them not smaller than other birds what other people showed?
No, the same.
The same.
There is no difference. You mean that the birds are nice but small?
Yeah.
No. If they were too small, they wouldn't win anything at the show.
Yeah.
But as I always say, it's you can make or try to breed a nice bird bigger, but it is almost impossible to breed a big bird nicer.
And again, the video here of dialects.
Yeah, that was maybe the best dialect that I ever bred. Super showy bird, big head, standing on the perch. Very good bird. Dialect is very nice.
Yeah.
Let's try some of them.
Our friend Rob here from Wales also is watching us today.
Ah, good.
So we were gonna start with the video of today.
Perfect. Like this, just like this. And when you watch that bird, that is my favorite bird at the moment. There is no fault in the bird. Maybe a bit more marking for a spaniel, but we're talking about the type of bird. So I had a very busy day today. So I was just catching some birds for you and put them into the flights and to show the overall things. Look, some double factor spaniels, and watch also, it's a quick video, but watch the wings, watch how they sit, watch if there are any feathers hanging on the perch, and then you can see what the birds are like.
And here is a question also. You can see it, Florian. How often you introduce new blood in your line stud?
The question is what you need, and introducing new blood doesn't necessarily mean that it's a faraway blood or a blood that you just gave a bird to a friend. But I try not to bring in many birds. Maybe last year I didn't bring anything. The year before, maybe 5 birds. Let's say 5 birds a year. But the question is not if you bring them, you buy them or get them, and you bring them in your bird room. The question is how you use them. Because if you bring them in and don't breed with them, or only pair them to your own birds, or you pair them in between themselves, in between the new birds, makes a big difference. So what I try to do is almost, you can't buy or get the perfect bird. So I try to get a feature, and from a breeder that I maybe think that there is the feature that I need. Nowadays you have to be very careful because there are a lot of long flights around, and I always try to get birds without any long flight influence. But in the end, we're talking about introducing birds. So you buy, let's say, 10 birds from that breeder and breed just with these birds, and try to fix in between these 10 birds, you try to fix the feature that you wanted to get from that breeder. Once you have it fixed, let's say, pairing the birds together, pairing a grandfather to granddaughter, things like that. Once you have it fixed, you can try, and then we come to the word introduce. You can try to introduce it to your own birds and see if it helps or not.
So that's not a long way to have fresh blood in your stud.
You must do that in advance always.
Yeah.
So and I don't have only one line. Look, I have always a fresh line here that anytime that I think that one line comes to an end and there is no progress to be made, then from the other line I can take a bird and put it into that line that I think that that's already gone and no more progress. I can put an outcross from my own stud in that line. So that would also mean introduce new blood, but within the same place.
Yeah. Okay. And other question about soft food for breeding. Do you use soft food for breeding? Sorry.
Not only for breeding, I give it all year through.
Yeah.
So it's just for me the seed mixture is the basic food to maintain them, but to make them like to bring them into a good condition and keep them in a good level, you must give soft food at least every second day when there's no breeding season and every day when there is breeding season. But I try to give it every day.
And here is some birds also.
Yeah, that's the same video that you already shown, but I made two videos because the first one I didn't like, but some birds were better in this video, some birds were a bit better in the other video. These are two double factor brothers.
Yeah.
The one on the top is super, that's a young one from this year. Yeah, violet spangle, other violet spangle with good marking, and a light green spangle from this year. Just that the camera of my mobile phone is not good at the moment. I can't do any zoom, so the pictures and the videos are not perfect. But you can see that we had like, I think it was 6 cages, 3 birds in every cage, so that means 18 birds. And from these 18 birds, only 1 or 2 were not sitting on the perch. And that is also an ability that you must have in your line, that the birds have a fearless behavior, that they perch themselves and put on top and put themselves on top of the perch. Blowy light green, cobalt from last year, some of the grays. I put like let's say 10 grays today to show them to you. That's a very good opaline gray, super blowy head. And the video is not close enough, so we don't see him perfectly. Yeah, more grays, but with the grays, and that is, I know that's maybe exciting or interesting. When with the grays now, when I go to the flight and catch them, there are 10, 15 birds. They all look the same, and I have to look myself at the ring number to know they're all from one line. But I have to look at the ring number to know exactly what parents they come from, and that is exactly the point when it's time for an outcross. When you have one family and they all look the same, and you don't see anything standing out or like this, they're all the same, on a good level, all the same. That's the point when you have to do an outcross.
What cages you are using?
What cages?
Yes, breeding cages.
I made them myself. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture, but we can put that on your Instagram account if you want. My cages are made of aluminium, and they have the trespa floor, stainless steel front wires, but I made them together with a friend. Good cages. I can put a picture. I send it on WhatsApp and you put it on Instagram.
What is your recommendation for beginner? Do they need to take birds from 1 or 2 or collect from several breeders?
That's, I think it doesn't matter too much if it's from 1, 2, or 3 breeders, because when you buy from is not the key of success. It is influencing if you have success or not, and of course there are big difference between the studs, but the decision is not, the decision whether you will be a good breeder or not is not made outside, and not made too much watching the way how you buy the birds or where you get them from. The decision is made at your own place, how you pair them at home. So you can buy from 2 places, yeah, and one place you make one line and the other place you make another line. So in the end, another guy buys from 2 places and mixes the birds. And in the end, the question is not if you buy from 1, 2, 3 or 100 places. The question is how you pair the birds and how you work with the birds.
But yeah, what's the supplement?
And the supplement thing is, I think it's it doesn't matter too much what you use, because there are a lot of good products, different products on the market. The question is how to keep your bird in balance, because there is no sense in having them like 2, 3, 4 weeks without any vitamins, calcium, minerals, and then trying to compensate this and put them a full tin of vitamins one day, and then 3 or 4 weeks nothing again. So the key of success is to keep the balance in all that nutrition supplement thing. Not too much, not too less, and the birds want regularity. So you can make 1 day calcium, 1 day vitamins, 1 day calcium, 1 day vitamins, just as an example. But you yourself, you must know what to give, and it's also a philosophy behind it. Don't jump on any tin that is like put with good commercials, because that happens a lot to beginners. There's good commercials about these powders, these supplements, and at the beginning of the year, sorry, on the desk of the bird room, they have 1 tin. Then they go to a show, come back with another tin. Then they go to a market, come back with another tin. Then they go to the sous shop, come back with another tin. All the tins are more or less having, at least to some part, the same ingredients. And at the end of the year, that guy has 25 tins on his desk. So at least I would say reduce your supplements to 5 tins, and then you are doing a good thing.
How can someone establish a long flight free line?
That question means I would take away the word of long flight from that sentence and say, how can you establish a light that is free of something? Yeah. So we can also replace the word long flight, let's say, with recessive height. Yeah? How can you establish a recessive height free line? So we start from the other way around. When you have some birds, you introduce recessive heights. Next generation, when all your birds that you had at home and you introduce recessive heights, next generation, all birds are split recessive heights, but you don't see recessive heights. Next generation, if you breed them carefully, there are no recessive heights, even though that there is recessive height gene in it. And that means it could happen that at the end of all that chain, all birds of your place would have recessive height gene inside, so be like split for recessive height, and 1 year 80% of the birds that you breed are recessive heights. So coming back to the first question, if you don't want to introduce something or establish a stud without a feature that you don't like or a variety that you don't like, don't bring it in. That's the answer.